Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
A moment ago, we were loud and silly and boisterous, and now it's just quiet. Seems like we're ready for Shabbat.
I think they might be.
Yeah.
I am.
I am very ready for Shabbat. So it has been a long week, at least, I don't know about you, but for me, it's been a long and a little bit of a strange week. So we all need a little bit of the respite that is Shabbat. So let's set our space, divide ourselves from the crazy week to the beauty of Shabbat. Let's take a deep breath in and release. With this next breath in, we breathe in and think about all of those things that caused us anxiety or stress. Think about them, and then as you release your breath, let them go. With this last breath in, we breathe in and think about the beauty and peacefulness of Shabbat. We breathe in, hold on to the sacredness of breath, and release. We continue setting ourselves for Shabbat peace with singing Ki Eshmera Shabbat. I did not look up the page.
You know what? It is on page, I just had it, 11, I think. Ki Eshmera Shabbat El Yishmereini. Ki Eshmera Shabbat El Yishmereini. Oti le'ol me'at beino u'beini. Oti le'ol me'at beino u'beini. Ki Eshmera Shabbat El Yishmereini. Ki Eshmera Shabbat El Yishmereini.
We turn to lighting the Shabbat candles. There are candles up here in front. If you would like to light your own Shabbat candles, please come forward as we turn to page 3. And I hope at home you have your own Shabbat candles as well. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Here she comes.
Hi. Hi. Do you want to light these?
I can do that.
Okay, go ahead. And you can go ahead and light your candles if you haven't already.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you. We continue with Kiddush on page 4. The heaven and the earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God stopped on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on that day, God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila למקראי קודש, זכר לציון מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. לחיים.
Our opening reading is not found in your prayer book. Prayer invites God to let the divine presence suffuse our spirits, to let God's will prevail in our lives. Prayer cannot bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. As we contemplate that quote from Abraham Joshua Heschel on prayer, we turn to page 28 for our call to worship, the Baruch Hu. We rise in body or in spirit.
Baruchu et Adonai Hamvorach, Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
Page 31, we read together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 34, the watchword of our faith.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Me'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele Asher anochi metzavcha hayom al levavecha veshinantam levanecha vedibarta bam beshivdecha bevetecha uvlechtecha vaderech uvshochbecha uvkumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beinenecha, uchtavtam hamezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tizkeru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'tem kedoshim lelohechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiyot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
As we prepare to sing as we prepare to sing Micha Mocha, we turn to page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot together, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Micha Mocha is found on page 40. We sing together with joy.
Mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar ba'kodesh. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef eleh, Nora tehilot osef eleh, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Malchutecha ra'u v'necha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze'elianu ve'amru, Ze'elianu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai, Yai lai 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 lai, Yai lai 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 lai, Yai lai 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 lai.
Page 42, we prepare to sing Hashkivenu, our evening lullaby. And in the summer, it feels a little strange to be preparing to sing an evening lullaby when it'll be hours before the sun sets. But here we are, sun is setting. And so we prepare to sing Hashkivenu, which asks for God's protection, for God to place upon us a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace. And as we sing this song, we all know there are times we need a shelter of peace. And so we also think of those who really need a shelter of peace, those in the Ukraine, those who've been affected by floods and by fires. And so we think not only of ourselves, but them as well.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, leshalom. Aleinu, Aleinu. As I lay me down, may I feel peace all around, sheltered beneath your wings. May I feel safe and protected until a new day begins. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, leshalom. Ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim, lechayim. Sukkot shalom, Sukkot shalom, Sukkot shalom, Aleinu, Aleinu, Aleinu.
Vishamru is a reminder that Shabbat was a gift to be celebrated. The last word of Vishamru is Vayinafash, was refreshed. And as God was refreshed, so too do we hope to be refreshed by our rest on Shabbat. Page 44, we sing together.
Shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim ha'asa Adonai, Asa Adonai, et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam.
I love that last, like a exclamation point and a period together.
Exactly.
Page 46, the Tefillah, the center of our liturgy. You can stand up, it's okay. Karen's ready, she is ready to go. It's the center of our liturgy. It's when we, thank you, Lori. Okay, it's the center of our liturgy. It's when we recenter ourselves and we are ready to pray. We are ready to pray. Okay, you can just listen to me talk and stand up. Everybody's standing in solidarity with Karen. Actually, I'm going to weave it into my sermon in a few minutes. It's all ready to go. Okay, so
That's awesome.
now I've got to remember what I was saying. So we are ready to pray. We're ready to reconnect. And so the first, page 46, is a little bit like a mantra. And then page 48, 50, and 52 are prayers. Page 48, we stand upon the shoulders of our forefathers and foremothers. Page 50, we remember God's greatness. And page 52, we sanctify Shabbat. We'll chant straight through, starting page 46.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekone Hakol, Vezocher Chaste Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah Rav lehoshia, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, lishenei afar, micha mocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, Melech meimit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukedoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. Page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue on page 60, Shalom Rav, singing for an abundant, a full peace.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech hadot, lechol hashalom, ki ata hu melech hadom, Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam B'tov Be'enecha Levarech Et Amcha Yisrael Bechol Eit Uvechol Shah Bishlomecha Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam Tasim Le'olam Tasim Le'olam.
Take time now to think about all of those whom we love who are in need of healing on this Shabbat, whether it be a physical healing, a spiritual healing, a healing from mental health issues. And we lift up the names of those whom we love. If you are at home, I hope you'll lift up those names in the chat. And here in our sanctuary, I hope that you'll share aloud the names. When we all lift up the names of those whom we love who are struggling, we hope that they'll feel just a little measure of comfort and a little bit of their pain eased. We join together in healing song. If you need the words, you can find it in the middle of page 253.
Makor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu, makor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We take a moment now for silent prayer and reflection.
Hiul ratzon imre fi. Hiul ratzon imre fi. Hagion libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri vegoali. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable before you, O God, my rock and my Redeemer. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, be'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru Amen.
We're back at the beginning. We're back to Genesis. And we're at the first Torah portion in the Torah called Breshit. The early chapters of Genesis focus on two of the most famous stories, the Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel. They're tough stories. And they both cover significant failures, if you think about it. So first, let's consider Adam and Eve. Here's the end of the story of Adam and Eve, Genesis chapter 3, verses 9 through 12. God called out to the man, "Where are you?" And the man answered, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." So just as a quick review, what's happened? Adam, anybody want to help me out here? You guys were pretty rowdy before, so here I'm in the sanctuary if you want to chat online. What happened? What, Jim? He ate, so Adam ate it's actually a little burst of the bubble. It's actually not an apple. It's just a fruit. That's a sermon for another day. So Adam ate the fruit, right? And Eve ate the fruit. And what happened to them? They gained some knowledge, right? So God called out to the man, to Adam, and Adam answered, "I heard you in the garden and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." And God said, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?" And the man said, "The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree and I ate it." This is a quote. These are quotes. I didn't make this up. Then God said to the woman, "What is this that you have done?" And the woman said, "The serpent deceived me and I ate." What's happened here? They have both deflected responsibility. Adam blames the woman, which you found a little bit funny here. We could talk about that another day. The woman blames the serpent. By the way, it's a serpent, not a snake. Another story, another sermon. Was the sin that we know about that they ate the fruit? Or was the sin something different? I believe that the sin was that they denied personal responsibility. Adam, the man, says she did it, and then she says that animal thing did it. And then when God calls out, what does Adam say? We hid. They're all deflecting responsibility. So a story about my childhood. My sister and I would, occasionally get into trouble. Inevitably, when we were called for it, we would say, it wasn't me, not me. And my parents would say, we have 2 children. Neither of them is named not me. Or they'd say, not me does not live here. The deflecting of personal responsibility made them more angry than the deed itself. Perhaps, too, this is the same lesson for Adam and Eve. So this is failure number 1. And we're only in Breshit. We're only in the first Torah portion. Let's look at failure number 2. Sibling rivalry is the second story in our Torah portion that focuses on failure. It's a terrifically difficult story. It's the narrative of the first murder, Genesis chapter 4, and it's about Cain and Abel. While they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. Then God said to Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" "I don't know," he replied. "Am I my brother's keeper?" And God said, "What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground." In these verses, Cain does not have a case of the not me's. His issue is not a deflection of personal responsibility. What is his issue? What? Denial of what, Sandy? Denial. So he said, so at home, he said denial. Denial of what? Denial of the truth? Responsibility of what? What he had done. He said he did it. He said, "Am I my brother's keeper?" I don't know where he is. So is he saying he didn't do it? What is he saying? He's not responsible. He's saying he doesn't care. He's saying he doesn't care. Instead, he's asking, why should he be concerned? Why should he be worried about anyone but himself? Cain lacks moral responsibility. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs teaches, if life is a Darwinian struggle to survive, why should we restrain ourselves for the sake of others if we are more powerful than they are? If there is no morality in nature, then I am responsible only to myself. So here we are, the first Torah portion, and what do we learn about personal and moral responsibility from Adam and Eve, from Cain and Abel, from these first chapters of Genesis? We learn negative examples. These 2 examples teach the importance of personal and moral responsibility because God is disappointed. God is unhappy. God punishes, right? Early biblical theology, God punishes. So we need something to balance this out. We need something good. Unfortunately, I had to go to the book of Exodus. Okay, so during Moses' early years, as he's growing up, he goes out to see the Israelites when they are enslaved. He sees them building and he sees them suffering, doing slave labor. He witnesses an Egyptian officer beating the Israelites. And in the Hebrew, the text says, Vayar ki ein ish. He looked this way and that way, and there was no man. There was no one there. Now, it's unlikely that this was a closed set and there was no one there. So what is this really saying? He saw that there was no one else willing to intervene. So here's where I can wrap into what happened earlier with Karen. So Karen stood up early for the Amidah, for the Tefillah. She stood up by herself. She could have been alone and we could have pretended to ignore her. We pretend to ignore things, but instead we saw, we intervened, and Lori stood up to be next to her. And then everyone else followed. So we did not have what's come to be known as the bystander effect. Moses defied the bystander effect. What's the bystander effect? Someone else is going to take care of it. Someone else is going to fix this for me. Someone else is going to handle the fact that the Israelites who were slaves were being treated badly. Moses couldn't handle it, so he took care of it. When Karen stood up early, none of you were bystanders. You stood up with her. What do we learn from Genesis is that God did not want us to be bystanders. God wanted us to take moral and personal responsibility. There is so much happening in our world. It's overwhelming, and it means that we are needed even more. This poem by Rachel Rembrandt made me think of this. Remember the timeline made of soft colored felt? Foot after foot of black, the Big Bang, eventually stars, a band of yellow planets form, green for teeming plants, orange for the dinosaurs, 165 billion year reign. Billion year reign. At the end of a tiny red line, Neanderthals, Mesopotamia, Toltecs, Industrial Revolution, today's headlines. In that line, humans lift each other up and tear each other down. The dance has always been 2 steps forward, 1 step back. The arc of the universe doesn't bend toward anything unless we push and pull, coax and cajole. Don't stop. What Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel and their nascent humanity miss is how much God expects us to take responsibility. God wants us to respond to the question, where are you? With one word, Hineni, here I am. Let us take responsibility. Shabbat Shalom.
It's easy to say I will one day, hard to make it happen that way. It's easy to say it's you, not me, hard to take responsibility. It's easy to say I'll forgive and forget, hard to let go of my regret. It's easy to say I heard what you said, hard to quiet my troubled head. במקום שאין אנשים השתדל להיות איש, במקום שאין אנשים השתדל להיות איש. It's easy to say I'm here for you, hard to know which words are true. It's easy to say I won't give up, hard to handle days that don't live up. It's easy to say it's gonna be okay, hard to find a place on these waves. It's easy to say I'm not afraid, hard to admit all the mistakes I made. במקום שאין אנשים השתדל במקום שאין אנשים השתדל להיות. This is the place where I begin. This is the place I lose to win. This is the place I find myself. I am that place במקום שאין אנשים השתדל להיות איש במקום שאין אנשים השתדל להיות, השתדל להיות איש.
Thank you. You want to say a word about that song?
Yes, so you of course understood the English, but this is actually from Pirkei Avot. Rabbi Hillel said, "Bamakom she'ein anashim," in a place where there are no humans, where there are no people, hishtadel lihiyot ish, you must strive to be human.
In other words, be a mensch.
Be there, show up, be present.
Yeah.
Stand up when Karen stands up.
And speaking of which, it's time for Elenu. So, it was a good segue.
Come on, you're the trendsetter.
So okay. We turn to page 283. We rise as able for Elenu.
It's heavier and heavier.
I know. Let us adore the ever-living God and render praise unto you, who spreads out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else.
V'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'nemar V'haya Adonai Lemelech al kol haaretz Bayom hahu Yeh Adonai echad Ushemo echad.
We remain standing for our memorial meditation, which is not found in your prayer book. It's called Heartstrings. When those we love go away, they never really leave us. They are with us now wherever we are. Those whom we have cherished live on forever, for love wraps itself around the heart. Although it's difficult now, someday beyond our tears and all the world's wrongs, beyond the clouds and all that we can see and touch, we shall understand. On this Shabbat, we remember those taken most recently from our temple family. We think of those in Shloshim in the first month since their death, Bill R. Rosner, Harry J. Lehman, and we remember those whose yahrzeits, whose anniversary of death fall on this Shabbat: Helen B. Amster, Mildred S. Arnold, Siegfried Baumel, J. Carl Beecher, Roxanne Katz Bing, Rosalind Stream Bloomfield, Clyde Buzzard Jr., Connie Cowan, Max Doss, Frida Fox Finneberg, Arthur Friedman, William S. Handel, Lucille Heflick, Robert Jacobson, Morton Mandel, Henry A. Marks, S. Martin Morris, Marjorie K. Nachman, Murray Rosenberg, Charles Silbiger, Albert Weissman, Minnie H. Zweig. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we turn to page 294 and join in the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, B'alma Divra Hirute V'amlich Malchute, B'chayechon of Yomechon, Uvchaye Techol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala of Izman Kari V'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Leolam Almei Almaya, Yit Barach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh, V'yit hadar, v'yit halel, v'yit halal, shemei dekudesha barichu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, huya aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and give comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say together, amen. Please be seated. It's my pleasure to invite Susan Hirsch to come forward. She has a few words of announcements and greetings for us.
Close. Okay. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Rabbi Van. Even closer. Oh, there we go. And Deb. Thank you both again for providing us with a beautiful service and spiritual support as always. We express also our gratitude to the dedicated STKA staff and leadership. Several announcements. Registration for our 10th second semester is open. Classes offer topics of study from your relationship with God, genealogy, and to Jewish politicians. Go to our website for detailed class descriptions and to sign up. Please note that fall gatherings are getting ready to begin. Visit the website to learn more and to register. Back by popular demand this year are hike and kibbutz, art and architecture, and new this year, game night. The Kol Ami Book Club begins again on October 24th at 7 p.m. via Zoom. This book topic is People Love Dead Jews. Please RSVP to Charlotte for the Zoom link. Please join us next Friday for Camp Shabbat. There will be great music. Our STKA campers will help to lead services, and we will hear from representatives from some of our favorite camps as they give a creative Devar Torah. Dress casual. There will be s'mores for Onig. Sounds good. Next Wednesday, we have a special opportunity to learn about the upcoming elections in Israel. Nadav Tamar, director of J Street Israel, will be here. The program is open to the community, and we hope that STKA will be well represented. Please RSVP to Charlotte to attend in person or to receive the Zoom link. And finally, we continue to comply with the CDC masking guidelines. Cuyahoga County remains yellow this week, indicating that for temple activities, masks are recommended for those with high risk factors. As always, refer to our website or Temple Times for current COVID policies. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Susan. We need to sing a closing song, and that closing song is Adon Olam.
Yes, and Adon Olam is on page 321.
321. Which version are we doing?
Oh, we're going to do the call and response.
Awesome.
I heard they were a crazy crowd tonight, so
Perfect.
I want to hear this rowdiness come out at us. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, Beterem Kol, Yetzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, Bechefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Ve'acharei Kiflot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora Adon Olam, Vehu Haya, Vehu Hoveh, Vehu Yeh Betifara Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, Beterem Kol, Yetzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, Bechefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Vehu Echad, Ve'ein Sheni, Lahamshilo Lahachbira Adon Olam, Beli Reshit, Beli Tachlit, Belo Haoz V'Hamisra Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, Beterem Kol, Yetzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, Bechefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Vehu Eli, Vechai Goali, V'tzor Chevli Be'etzara Adon Olam, Vehu Nisi, Umanos Li, Menat Kosi Beyom Mekra Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, Beterem Kol, Yetzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, Bechefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Beyado Afkid Ruchi, Be'et Dishan Ve'ayira Adon Olam, Ve'im Ruchi Geviyati, Adonai li velo haoz Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, Beterem Kol, Yetzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, Bechefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam.
Please rise as able for our benediction.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yaher Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May the light of God's presence shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom ve'yasem lecha shalom.
May God lift up each one of us, and may God bring us shalom, peace, and wholeness.
Amen.
And challah.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'te'avon.
B'te'avon, Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.